What's on YouTube? It's PTT back at it with another Destiny 2 video. Today guys, we're going to be covering a couple of different articles, both of which will be linked in the description down below. Now, what I'm going to try and do is just cover the important bits. There are a lot more in the articles themselves. Obviously, I'm not going to cover all of them because we could be here all day. Go and check them out. Have a 5-minute read. Very good information there. I highly recommend that you do check them out. We're going to jump straight into things then, because there are two things mainly we want to cover today. One is for you PvP players that should make you very happy. One is for PvE players that should make you very happy. But that being said, the PvP thing should also mean PvE guys have something to be a little bit excited about as well. So we're going to start off with then a question. This question was fired at Luke Smith, which if you don't know is the game director for Destiny 2 by PlayStation Lifestyle. And they said, PvP versus PvE balancing is a touchy point, but it's something that makes Destiny unique. You can go through the PvE and you can jump into the Crucible and it feels and plays the same. You have the same weapons, the same armor. How are you approaching that going into Destiny 2? Now that is obviously a very good question. We all know guys that there have been a lot of balancing issues in the years going through Destiny, and to be honest, most of them have always focused around PvP. Yes, there have been a few PvE weapons that have been crazily powerful. We look at Black Hammer, Gjallarhorn, things like that, but the majority of balancing issues, in my opinion at least, have always been with PvP and the way they nerf entire archetypes. Now, Luke Smith came back and answered that question, and again, I'm going to quote so I get it right. The turning path is pretty different this time. The weapons are all hand-built in a way where before they had random talents. We can look at an entire archetype like hand cannons, and then we can look at data on usage rates for hand cannons and sort usage rates. And then within usage rates, check kill-death ratios per hand cannon and find out what is actually effective and what's not. And then, because the weapons are all hand-built, we can take a given hand cannon and say, let's change this one particular hand cannon rather than let's pave this entire archetype. So we have opportunities in front of us that we didn't have because of the way we built weapons, and hopefully in Destiny 2 we'll seize those opportunities. So yeah, end quote, by the way. Very, very cool to hear. Basically what it sounds like is Destiny 2, as well as reworking the way weapons go into loadouts. So, you know, at the moment we have primary, special, heavy. We're going to have kinetic, energy and power. Not only have they changed things there, but they've individually built each weapon so that if we get to a point in Destiny 2 where one particular weapon becomes, you know, the meta, it's a case of this is the best, you have to have this or you're just not going to win. They can actually go in and dial down that particular weapon without affecting the entire archetype. And obviously that was the big issue in Destiny 1 with PvP. You know, you got certain weapons, let's say the Clever Dragon, let's, you know, go back and look at Messengers, and they were very, very powerful for what they were. But they couldn't just nerf that one weapon. They had to nerf the entire archetype. So your high fire rate, you know, high impact pulse rifles, your lower fire rate, high impact scout rifles. You know, when these things got nerfed, it was aimed at fixing one weapon, but it had a knock-on effect to all the others. So you had weapons that, you know, were maybe bad, but because they fell into that archetype, they got even worse after the nerf. And it is nice to see that they're going to be able to go in and nerf individual weapons. What's also worth noting, and what I personally take out of this as well, guys, is not only can they nerf weapons individually, but they can also buff weapons individually. So, you know, if we go in and we have 3 hand cannons, for example, one's stupidly powerful, one's kind of okay, one's never used because it's too weak and it's just not viable. They can take the powerful one and they can drop it down to the middle ranked one that's kind of okay, and the lower one that, you know, hardly ever sees any use because it's just below par, they can raise that up, maybe give it, you know, a rate of fire increase or an impact increase so that it actually becomes a viable weapon, and that is very cool and something I think you PvP players are going to be very, very excited for. But, you know, as always, guys, this is a discussion. It's not just my opinion. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Next, then, we're going to go on to talk about PvE. Okay, something for me is a big deal. I prefer PvE over PvP in any game. I always do. I love it. And again, I'm going to start off with a quote by Luke Smith. Destiny 2 game director, Luke Smith, reveals that the game will offer more to do than in any other Bungie game ever. Bungie previously detailed new mission types called Lost Sectors and Adventures. These promise plenty of replayability for players and should keep them exploring and enjoying the game world for a while. Additionally, Smith tells the publication that Destiny 2 will feature treasure hunts, although details on these quests for hidden loot were sparse. They will reportedly involve special maps, but it is unclear whether this will involve textual clues or if players will have to use the knowledge of their location and its landmarks to figure out where the treasure is hidden. So that sounds really, really cool, okay? And I actually think that's kind of a bold statement, more to do than in any Bungie game ever. Now, I'm not a massive Halo fan. I have the Master Chief Collection. I have played them all at some point. In fact, I vividly remember playing ODST on the 360. To say that this is like going to be one of the biggest PvE games they've ever done, pretty damn cool. We know there's going to be lots of new things added in. Lost Sectors Adventures we keep hearing about because, you know, be it Luke Smith or Deej, people are always, they're always talking about how kind of easy it is to make these Lost Sectors and Adventures because of the way they've done them. Meaning that as we go down the line, they can introduce new versions of them a lot faster and a lot more frequently so that we have something to do. They also constantly boast how they are replayable and they have varying ways of doing things so that players don't get bored. You know, I think we can all hold our hands up and say as Destiny players, we burn through content a hell of a lot quicker than they can make it. And that normally leads to big dry spells between DLCs, between live events where the players generally tend to get a little bit bored. So it's nice to see that they've kind of accepted some of the downfalls and content failures through Destiny 1 and they're addressing it in Destiny 2. Let's talk a little bit about treasure hunts then, because treasure hunts always interest me. When you hear things like treasure hunts and maps, I always instantly get excited. Like, is this something I'm going to go and get to find? Is it something I'm just going to be given and told? You know, I've experienced treasure maps in games, as I'm sure you guys have through Skyrim, through ESO, through Assassin's Creed. So many games have implemented kind of the treasure system, and I really like it. There are obviously varying ways that they can go down a road to implement them, but they always normally, 9 times out of 10, turn out to be very, very good. You normally get some very good loot out of it. You get to go and maybe experience some areas of the map that you may have just run through previously and never really paid any attention to. So it's really good. How do I see Bungie implementing them? I honestly have no idea. Will we get something like Assassin's Creed where, you know, you look at the map and it's got like a sketched out picture roughly and you kind of got to think, okay, right, I know that. I've seen that on this planet. I think I saw it around this area, but you actually have to go and have a look around before you find it. Is it going to be a case of they just say go here and fight some bosses and you're going to get it? Maybe, I don't know, and I'm only guessing, Lost Sectors might troll in with some treasure maps somewhere. Troll in? Tie in? If any of you guys have played Horizon Zero Dawn, you had cauldrons, maybe we get like a treasure map. It will, you know, take us to one of these lost sectors and at the end will be some treasure, and the only way of finding that specific lost sector is with the treasure map because, you know, maybe it's blocked off normally, so there is no way of getting it until you actually get this treasure map. Another thing is, will the treasure maps come up as quests, you know, when you actually get one, so they're actually completable? Who knows? Again, we're going to have to wait and find out. We are only 2 weeks away from the beta, and I'm seriously hoping that we are going to have some form of open world exploration, even if they, you know, block off some of the European Dead Zone and let us just play in a little portion of it. I honestly believe that with changes to PvP, and not everyone being happy about it, I think the PvE side of Destiny 2 is what's going to sell it. I think that's what people are going to get very, very excited for, and I think it's what could make or break Destiny 2 being good or bad. That's, again, is just my opinion, guys. As always, as I've said a million times before in videos, this is a discussion. It's not just me giving you information. So please hit me up and let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. But that is going to wrap it up for this video. Again, the articles, they are in the description down below. I highly recommend going and checking them out because there is a lot of other information there that we haven't covered in this video. But yeah, Guardians, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. I hope you liked the video. If you did, smash the thumbs up button. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. There are plenty more Destiny videos coming your way. And until the next video, I'll catch you all soon.